background profile is structured. You might be a finance person, you may even have experience and you may have the right skills is needed for that role. But if your LinkedIn is not properly structured, if your headline is not well to align with the kind of opportunities that you're looking, your experience, the way you have your structured, then other things like education are properly structured, being visible to recruiters who to find you. That means that you need to profile is properly updated in terms of have a good headshot on your link, because also your picture says a lot to you. So you need to have a good headshot. You need to ensure that your headline is also speaking to the kind of opportunity that you want to you are open to. All right. So moving right along, when we put the search, it returns a number of results, sometimes hundreds, thousands, and all of that. And part of the things that determines if your profile would be amongst maybe the first 5 or the first 10 pages is how well your LinkedIn profile is structured. That's one. Another thing that also determines that is how active you are. How active you are on LinkedIn. How well are you sharing on LinkedIn? How well are you contributing to the things that is being posted on LinkedIn? How well updated is your profile and all of that. All right. So once it returns the results, list of profiles, they will begin to look at them one after the other. Does this person have the required experience? Where do they work? What have they done that is visible on their profile? What kind of opportunities are they open to? Are they the right set of candidates that we're looking for? All right. And then we begin to make our short list from there. We begin to identify, okay, this set of people or this number of people. And once we can agree that this person meets the requirements that we're looking for, the next thing will be to write to them there on LinkedIn. Either to write to them directly on LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn Recruiter, right? I use LinkedIn Recruiter, which allows you to write a direct message or a direct email to anybody on LinkedIn, whether or not you're connected with them. It allows you to write directly to them. So sometimes we write directly to them. Sometimes we get to see their contact, maybe their email address or their phone numbers. Whatever the case is, the next step will be to reach out to them and then get to learn more about their experience and how they might be a fit for the opportunity that we have. All right. So that's like a summary of how we search for talents on LinkedIn and then eventually hire for talents on LinkedIn. And I should say that in the last how many years now, we've hired a great deal from LinkedIn. And like Mr. Collins said at the beginning, he has gotten like a number of jobs directly from LinkedIn. I have received, I'm not sure I've taken up a job from LinkedIn, but I've gotten like several opportunities where people reach out to me. Oh, we have this opportunity. Are you interested? Would you like to explore? I mean, I've gotten several, at least maybe more than like 10 or thereabouts in how many years. So opportunities are found on LinkedIn, really. And as we begin to, prepare to go into the new year, maybe one of the things that you want to do, aside from ensuring that your CV is updated. Another thing that LinkedIn does for you is LinkedIn is now your digital CV. It's now your digital resume. So it's not until when you send your paper resume to employers before you can be found or before you can get an opportunity. LinkedIn is already your digital resume. You would see that everything that you have on your CV or on your resume is what LinkedIn has already asked you to provide. Your name, your where you work, your education, your skills, your experience. It even allows you to request for recommendations. People can recommend you on LinkedIn. They can write a recommendation. People who have worked with you, people who have had something to do with you, maybe not necessarily directly, maybe working together. People, maybe your church members who are professionals who are on LinkedIn can write a recommendation for you if you have had something to do with them in the past that is worthy of that could show them the kind of person you are. So people can write recommendations for you. There are certifications, there are courses you can take on LinkedIn that you can showcase the certifications right there on LinkedIn. So an employer can see everything about you on LinkedIn even without having to request for your CV. So the same way you take your CV or your resume as so seriously is the same way you need to take your LinkedIn profile so seriously, right? It's the same way you need to take it very seriously because that is your digital footprint. Another thing that you can do as well to put your digital footprint out there is to make sure that across your online platforms, say even your social platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which is now X, and maybe Threads and all of that. One thing you can do is to make sure that all the information that you have, they align across board. They align across board because that's also how you build your own personal brand. So we shouldn't go to LinkedIn and see that you are a data analyst and then find you on Twitter and see that you are a musician, or then we find you on Facebook and see that you're an actress, right? So you need to also make sure that you align the information that you have across your social platforms. So one thing I did for myself is if you go on Google now and then you type Olatoye Fikayo, you definitely, my profile or my name will come up first, most likely, like almost 90 something percent. When you type Olatoye Fikayo, most likely my profile would come up first. You will see my LinkedIn, you will see my Facebook, you see my Instagram, and any other platform where I belong, and you will find the same information on them. Well, maybe there's a particular information you won't find on LinkedIn that you probably find on all the other platforms. So I did that so that anybody can easily locate me, anybody can find me. So you can't say that, oh, you get to LinkedIn and you cannot find me. You get to Facebook, you cannot. Anything you see, you will find the same things across board. Even though for a couple years now I've not been active on Facebook for whatever reason, and Instagram, all those platforms I've not really been active. But I'm active in the sense that I'm online, right? So if you send me a message on Instagram, I probably may not have the time to really attend to it, but I know that a message came in. Then maybe when I have the time, I can attend to it. So you need to also make sure that you are deliberately building your own personal brand. Employers this age, they are looking for people and they go everywhere to find people. One of the personal experience I can share is that there was a time I was trying to hire for a role. This not even once. I mean, more than once, maybe like 2 or 3 times. I've tried to hire for a candidate, and then I go on LinkedIn, I can't find them. I know the name of the person. Maybe I find the name on LinkedIn, and then I can't find maybe other information. I can't reach them. I remember one Sam Ahedo, one man like that. I went on LinkedIn, I saw his name, his profile looks good, but I wrote to him, no response for weeks or for how long. And then eventually I had to go to Instagram, Facebook. This man must be somewhere. Like, he must be somewhere. He will probably be on Facebook, or he would, at least everybody probably has a Facebook, or maybe not everybody, like majority. He would probably have a Facebook or Instagram. And then I found him on Instagram. I reached out to him, and then I got to realize that he had relocated relocated out of the country. He had relocated to Canada, and so he wasn't open to opportunity in Nigeria. A lot of the finally contact those people and they tell you they have not been active on LinkedIn and all of that, but you get to find them on some other platforms, right? So LinkedIn is like the primary source, but it's not the only place that people can find you. But of course, tonight is about LinkedIn. And I also want to say that, so like I said, some people are not very active on LinkedIn. People, maybe some very highly experienced category of people. That should not be you and me, alright? That shouldn't be you and I, because we are still like, the majority of us are still like at the early stages of our career. Some are just moving to the mid-level, and we will constantly be open to opportunities, right? We'll constantly be open to opportunities. Even in terms of opportunities, it's not only job opportunities that are available on LinkedIn. It's not only job opportunities. People share opportunities on scholarships from time to time. So if you're a fresh graduate and you're looking to maybe study for your master's degree and all of that, information is being put out on LinkedIn every day, every hour. You see somebody posting about scholarships, somebody's posting about how you can, draft your statement of purpose and all of this. A lot of resources out there on LinkedIn that can help you, and not even just scholarship opportunities, even businesses. You can, as a business owner, you can actually also market. You can sell your business on LinkedIn. You can sell your business on LinkedIn. You can reach out to people directly on LinkedIn, tell them about what you do, what you sell, maybe the product that you sell, or what your business is all about. You can generate leads from LinkedIn. So it's not only for maybe you're looking for a job, because maybe somebody might say, oh, what if I'm not looking for a job? What else? As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, or somebody who is looking to start a business, LinkedIn is also a place where you can, even though sometimes a lot of B2B happens on LinkedIn, but even these days, B2Cs are taking place. I receive DMs every time. Somebody is selling insurance, somebody is selling real estate. So even cars. I've seen somebody who had sent a message to say, we have this set of Tokumbo vehicles and all of that, even though it could be a scam. People are selling all kind of things on LinkedIn, alright? So it's not just only job opportunities or scholarships, volunteering, a lot of that you find it on LinkedIn. Even businesses can sell on LinkedIn. So I think I'll just take a pause now so that we can answer another question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul. I love one of my key takeaways from all you said so far. It's how that you're able to tie LinkedIn with personal branding. So we begin to see ourselves as a brand and project our image out there, such that people are able to see you and know you for who you are and what you do. So if you're on LinkedIn as a data analyst, you shouldn't be on Facebook as another thing entirely, totally different from what you do. So there should be you should be able to use the platform to project yourself and sell what you do, such that when recruiters look out for you, they can easily find you. Thank you so much. I don't know if anyone has a question. I know I thought Vera raised her hand to ask a question. I want to open the floor to anyone. You could either unmute. Okay, Akigbenyi. Okay, you have the floor. You raise your hand, so you could actually unmute and speak, so we can hear your question. If you prefer to type, you could type your question in the chat on the comment section there, so that I could read that out.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much, Dr. Paul, for the insightful lessons you've shared tonight. I'm really grateful. I recently started using LinkedIn because I always I used to feel like that space is a place where you only share your achievements. So there's always been like a space I run away from. But I I I began to see it in another light recently, and I'm looking to maximizing that space. Okay, so I really want to understand what type of content are not suitable for LinkedIn. Now, you see, there are some things you post on Instagram, and then your audience, they can relate. It's okay. It's the how do I put it? The was I'm trying to look for the word. Maybe okay, your audience, it's something they can relate to. They don't have a problem with it. But there are some spaces or some social media platforms you get to, and then your audience will consider you not too formal. I like that you mentioned that LinkedIn should kind of be informal. I remember recently that, I don't know if you mentioned that this lady, DJ Copy, posted something. And everybody found it, like, everybody laughed about it. Like, okay, you're looking for a man on LinkedIn. I think it should not be too serious. Sometimes I want to post something and I just feel like, okay, this is not suitable for LinkedIn. Let me take it to Instagram. So I really need to know how to, what content is suitable for LinkedIn. How do I tailor my content to suit my audience and make employers see me as somebody that's serious, somebody that's professional, and not joking about what she's doing? So that's my question. Thank you.
Hi, from me. Thank you. Good evening, and it's nice seeing you here. Right. Very good question here. So I'd said that the earlier years of LinkedIn used to be very formal. I mean, like very formal, 100%. You can't just post any funny thing or just any unserious thing. You look unserious like to people, right? And then, but recently, I think that formality has been toned down a little, not completely, just a little. They have been toned down a little. And you made a very valid point. My boss, would usually say that context is relevance. Context is relevance, right? So you need to be contextual. So if you are in a place where you know that this place is formal, everything about this place is formal. If you then begin to come and begin to do like a what's it called? Like Sabinos, you actually be making a fool of yourself. Because already you know that this environment is formal, right? And then, like you said, there are contents that are actually, if you go to Instagram and you post a video of you cruising on a boat and all of that, it would definitely, people would come and like it, comment and hail you and all of that. But if you wake up on a Monday morning and you post on LinkedIn of how you are cruising on a boat, except that you are trying to link that video or that picture to something, maybe something more intelligent. Maybe you're trying to make a point, maybe about motivation for people starting out their week or starting out their morning, or you're trying to talk business or something that you know that people would find intelligent, then yes, of course you can go ahead. But then the key thing about LinkedIn is that, let me first try to answer your question about how do I know the kind of content to put out on LinkedIn. Alright? I think it's about you going back to building your personal brand. I think it's about you wanting to put out a content that you want to be known for. Alright? So you want to, you see people on LinkedIn, there are lots of thought leaders. There are lots of thought leaders on LinkedIn. So one of them is Yemi Fashion. Maybe a number of us will know Yemi Fashion. Yemi Fashion is a thought leader when it comes to human resources and leadership. Every time he posts on Monday morning, every Monday morning, he posts motivation and posts about leadership, about management and all of that. He has done this like for decades of years, right? Not just maybe 1 or 2 years. He has been doing this consistently over the years. And so when anybody goes on LinkedIn and they come across a YF post, they know that this is definitely either going to be about leadership, about motivation, or human resources or something. Alright. So for you as an individual, probably who is new to LinkedIn or who is trying to build credibility on LinkedIn, I think that the strategy you need to employ is sit. So one thing my brother does, he does is that, he also has like a niche where he writes on. So he writes about his experience, his experience maybe with customer, with products and all of that. And at the tail end of that post, he says that this is who I am. These are the kind of content that I put out, and I am open to these kind of conversations, and I want to connect with people. So I think it's about you sitting down to say, what do I want to be identified with on LinkedIn? What kind of content do I want to be identified with? What kind of credibility do I want to build? Right? So for me, over the years, what I used to write about goes around leadership, goes around faith, goes around motivation and inspiration like that. I think recently there's a platform that just rolled out in 2024. I started seeing people do like a recap of their year. Mr. Collins, I don't know if you have seen that, co-authors.
Yes.
So what co-authors does is that it will help you to look at your LinkedIn profile, look at everything you have shared throughout the year, and then do like a summary and help you to like analyze it and say, this is the kind of person you are, this is the kind of topics that you engaged in or that you posted about, these are the achievements and all of that. And then he's saying, maybe in 2025 you may want to strengthen this part of your content or this part of your post. I think that's a very brilliant intervention. It helps people to like track their thoughts. What have they even been talking about over the months? So for a person who is trying to build credibility, find a niche. There are a lot of people if you go on LinkedIn, there are a lot of thought leaders in finance, thought leaders in business, thought leaders in human resources, different aspects. So you find a space. Maybe it is writing. If you want to start to write around maybe copywriting or how to write, how to do this, how to do that, and then you begin to share your own learnings, your own experiences around this space. Maybe not even just your own, maybe even other people's. Maybe you listen to someone or you read about something, you want to share about it, you want to share your thoughts, you want to share your opinion. It doesn't even have to be you. It doesn't have to be yours. You don't have to share your story. So because people may say, I don't even have, what am I sharing? I'm just a student or I'm just a fresh graduate. I don't even know anything. Don't worry about that. Talk about some other person. Maybe somebody in your space. Maybe somebody in engineering. Maybe you're in engineering and you know somebody, maybe an author or an icon in that space. Write about them. Talk about them. Just make sure that you find a niche for yourself and gradually begin to build that credibility. Begin to build that credibility from the things that you post on a regular basis. Alright? So I don't know if that is helpful.
I believe that helps. We have another question here by Dan. It says, how do you balance having a professional, social, and general? I don't know, that question is not so clear. How do you balance? Probably wants to know how to balance his professional and social life. I wouldn't know. Maybe you can unmute so you could shed more light on the question.
I'm not even sure if he's still on the call.
Oh.
I'm trying to see.
All right. Before, I guess you probably join back. So just a quick question here. So, what can you say, or two questions? What can you say about the number of connections I have? So I'm on LinkedIn, for example, and I've been on LinkedIn for, let's say, 2-3 years, and I don't have up to 500 connections. how does that increase my chances of getting job opportunities or being found by recruiters? And secondly, so some people talk about a strategy where they only send connection requests to HR professionals, recruiters, headhunters. I mean, people in that space. Those are the people they reach out to or make requests, send requests to. So, just in a bit that when those people are searching for professionals, they can be found easily. So, what can you say about that strategy?
Okay, thank you very much. So first, to address the issue around your number of connections. So I should say that the number of connections that you have can impact on your visibility. That is for sure. It can impact on your visibility. So if you have less than the benchmark where you see is 500 connections and then it begins to take you to 500 plus. Yeah, so if you don't have up to 500 connections, so we use something, what do we call that thing now? It's like we use like a plugin on our browsers, which helps us to get people's contacts on LinkedIn, like a sales navigator kind of software.
Something like
So
Lucia.
something like Lucia, Contact Out, and all of that. So when we search for a profile and the person has less than 500, this is something I've studied, like I've observed over the years. When the person has like less than 500 connections, the chances that you would be able to find that person's email or phone number if it is available on their profile is very slim because they have fewer connections, right? That aside, when I talked about when we search for maybe a particular job title or we search for a particular role or something, there are pages, it returns like maybe like 10, 15, 20 pages of profiles. The number of connections that you have can impact on which of the pages your profile will be. So if you have like a robust number of connections, maybe like from 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 upward, it just gives you like a higher chance of visibility. So the fewer your connections, the lesser your chance at visibility. So you need to be intentional about growing your network. And then going to answer the second question about people who just wants to connect with headhunters and recruiters. Well, I mean, you are still searching yourself because opportunities don't only come from recruiters and headhunters. Like I said earlier, your being on LinkedIn is not just about opportunities, maybe job opportunities. You also learn. You're learning from people. You're learning from what people share from time to time. So if you maybe connect with only recruiters and headhunters, then you're limiting the scope or to the extent to which you can learn, to which you can interact. So don't limit yourself to just adding only HR people, right? Add everybody, like add people, of course. Filter the connections. Look at people's profile before you add them. Look at what they do. Look at the space that they are in, and then know if this is somebody you want to follow, or this is somebody you want to learn from, or you want to connect with. So don't just limit your connections to recruiters and headhunters. Expand the scope. Again, I wanted to say something about what Fumibi said earlier about achievements, about the thing about around LinkedIn is for achievement. You see, Instagram has oppression. When you go on Instagram and you see somebody like this December now, and you see somebody on a boat cruise, and you see somebody in Dubai, or you see them in Seychelles, and then they are posting it everywhere, and you're like, hey Jesus, am I a wood or am I a torchlight? That it happens on LinkedIn too, and I should say this because that also would help people who are trying to just come onto LinkedIn, and you enter LinkedIn on the Monday morning and you're saying, I'm happy to announce, I'm happy to do this, I'm happy to do that, and you're like, what is going on? Is it only me that is not happy to do anything? Is it only me that is not making progress in my career? You there's a lot of lies too on LinkedIn, and I must put that out there. There's a lot of lies. People, as a matter of fact, even some people, HR people put fake vacancies. I'm telling you for a fact, HR people put fake vacancies for followership. Yes, they do it. Fake vacancies for followership, because the way LinkedIn works is when they see somebody posting jobs, people want to follow the person. Because they believe that this person posts a lot, and so they can easily get opportunities from this person. So some of them go to the extent that they post fake jobs so that people will like their posts, people will comment. You see a lot of the time they say, I have 3 or 5 rows for Kiniko. If you are interested, comment interested in the comment box. Why don't you put the link to apply for the opportunity right there in your post? Why are you asking me to comment interested? My manager that I'm trying to hide from, that I want to leave the company, you're asking me to comment interested so that he will know that I'm trying to leave the job. So there are a lot of things like that. A lot of people will announce, I am happy to announce. Some of them are lies. Take it from me for a fact. Not all of them, right? But some of them are lies. A lot of people. And then another thing I need to mention, please be authentic, be real. Even in your headline, in what you put in your work experience. I know a lady that we worked together. We worked together some years ago. This lady, while we were working together, she was 10. She was an intern that was just doing, she knows how to use Excel pretty good. So she was just doing payroll and some admin stuff in our HR department when the rest of us were doing, bigger stuff. I think it was maybe last year or so. And then I saw this lady's profile and I'm seeing Global HR Manager. Kiniko. And I'm like, hey, Global HR Manager. Is it not the same? This person that was an intern in our office, how many years ago? 2 or not even up to 2 years, like if a year plus, is now a Global HR Manager. Even me, 5 going to 6 years, I didn't put global, maybe for humility or whatever purpose. So a lot of people, don't let people's profiles scare you. And don't let people's achievement, they write that they did this. Some of them will put a lot of things. So a lot of them are lies. Just be authentic and filter the kind of things that you allow to enter into your space. The same way there is oppression on Facebook and Instagram, there is professional and career oppression on LinkedIn. They will oppress you. Some of them, their salary is not more than, some of those people, their salary is not more than 100,000, 150. And I'll tell you from experience, at least by what I do, I'm a recruiter, I get to know about people's salary sometimes when maybe we're trying to hire, we say, maybe the client is saying they want to know what this person is collecting. And then we say, give us what you're currently collecting. And then you see this person's salary and you're like, and you're putting all this big grammar on your profile. Is this not everything? So a lot of lies there on LinkedIn. My colleague is on this call and she can bear witness. A lot of the times we contact people on LinkedIn and say, this your profile is girl. And then we say, send us your CV. And then we see their CV and we're like, hey, Jesus, it doesn't match. And even beyond CV, we get to speak with some of them. We try to interview them. As a matter of fact, we still interviewed somebody recently, and this person was just yarning nonsense. Even the new person that just joined us could tell that this person is talking in the nonsense. This person is talking in the rubbish. And if you go to their LinkedIn, you see Global HR Expert Kiniko. They are experts in everything. Most of them are lies. And that's why I would say that please be authentic on what your brand that you're putting, because the more you are meeting with either recruiters or people who want to give you opportunities and you are falling their hand, you are denting the image of your personal brand. So you put all these experts and everything on your LinkedIn, and I reach out to you and then we say let's talk, and you're talking rubbish. I probably may not look at your profile again for any opportunity, because I would already tell that this one is a scam. You can't match up with what you are what's that word now? What you're trying to
project.
To put put yourself out there to be. Alright, so please be authentic. Be authentic on your LinkedIn and don't let anybody oppress you. Put out your content